I mean, since the aerials are such a massive, and such an exciting part of the job, one question I have for you, Joe, is just what drives, is it a chicken the egg situation in terms of the air to air stuff, then driving your your actors inside their cockpits, meaning, or is it the other way around, or a combination of the two? Because obviously you have to then send them up without you in the ship talking to them the whole time, and then have them come back and give them notes, and those kind of, like, sorties they have to go out on alone in these ships. Did you shoot a bunch of air to air stuff to then guide you on what they needed to react to, or vice versa? Or tell me a
No,
little bit.
it was kind of everything was happening simultaneously because often the same time we were flying actors to shoot interior shots, we were also flying jets, shooting exterior shots, or sometimes we were shooting the jets that the actors were in exterior as well. So there wasn't A to B to C to D kind of order. I think we did something like 3,500 storyboards for this film, which is a record for me personally. So we had all these sequences boarded as a first pass, just as a starting point. And then in the briefing every morning, we would sit with all the pilots, all the actors, me, Tom, Claudio, Eddie Hamilton, the editor, and we would basically walk through the day using stick models, just like the Top Gun pilots, little planes on sticks, with storyboards, with sometimes previs, and talk through beat by beat what the story of the day was. What the action was, what the characters would say, where their eye lines needed to be, and what story we were telling. So everyone in that room, which was probably 50 people, knew what the marching orders of that day were for the film. And sometimes it would only be a page of script. And then we'd send the sorties off in the morning, two actors, 6 cameras each. And they'd come back in an hour and a half, and we'd put the footage straight into the monitor, and we'd all sit around and watch what they had shot, 10 minutes after they had landed. And quickly see what worked, what didn't work, figure out what we need to redo, and then send them back up in the afternoon. So it was a very slow, tedious way to gather footage, but the only way that I could think of to get the footage that we got. So it was a very methodical process that required everyone to be on the same page every day.
And you had to sort of say, okay, Miles, when this banks hard right, I want you to look over your shoulder, or whatever it is. So he
Yep.
knew, like, while he's up there, he had marching orders for 10 things to try while he
Every
was up
actor
over.
had every actor had a notebook that they would attach to their leg, just like a pilot would have a flight plan, and it would have, you know, dialogue notes, eyeline notes. I mean, after we do this brief, I would then take the actor and the pilot to what was called a buck, which is a plywood cockpit that matched the airplane, that had the camera switch and the camera locations, and we would then step through their flight as a rehearsal. For about 45 minutes or an hour till it became like muscle memory. But yeah, it's exactly that. Eye line, lines of dialogue. You know, Glenn Powell would have, 10 alts to a line that he'd want to pitch. And remind them that the light placement, we liked a rear 3/4, left or right, altitude of the airplane, terrain, everything. And the pilot had to be in sync, remind them to turn the camera on and off. They had to do their own makeup, sweat. So it was a lot. It was a lot for them to be in charge of up there. But we rehearsed it so much that, the idea was to make it like muscle memory. Uh,
Yeah, incredible.
and obviously the first couple days we had, highs and lows. But after we got the rhythm of it, we started getting really great footage, and everyone was just, it was kind of, we were all pumped, because we were getting great stuff.